did get a comment from staff that say it's hard to hear on the Facebook.
Talk like that.
Just letting staff know that it's not hard to hear when you attend in person.
Oh, that's a good answer.
I can do that. Some of them are on their desk.
If we get 175 people that show up here, then nobody's running the library.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll be a party at the library.
We're going to talk about that later in this agenda. So.
All right. I believe it is 4:30, so I will call the Evansville Vanderburgh Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. It is 4:30 p.m. on November 14th. Introduction of forum and visitors. I think we know who we are. I don't see any visitors this time. All right. Correspondence, the yellow folders going around if you haven't seen it yet. And please continue to pass it. And then we'll move to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second motion and second discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Governance. VA 2025-2025 salary structure and implementation. Heather.
So in the board packet, you will see both the memo, but also the potential salary structure for, I have it listed as 2025 to 2027. That could be changed if we wanted to in the future, but we know that the FLSA plans to change these salary thresholds every 3 years. So it would make sense to grow our salary structure along with that at every stage that the FLSA salary changes. This new structure is built around that FLSA minimum. And you can see that on grade 12 and everything builds and grows from there. This structure also holds to the same range spread and midpoint differentials as our original salary structure did. So it stays very true to the original. We ask that you approve this.
So move.
There's a motion.
Second.
And a second. Do I hear any discussion? I will just add that I've talked to Bob about that, who was instrumental in making this forward, and he supports this fully. So just so the group's aware, since he's not present. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Updated roles, descriptions, and reporting structure.
So because you just approved that, this would have been different had you said no. Several of those role descriptions do need to change in accordance with those grade changes for FLSA moves. But additionally, once we got into that, I looked at every single role description that we had. There were a few that needed just some additions, and there were a couple typos that we found, different reporting changes and some structural changes that needed to be made. These were all sent to you on October 30th. So we ask that you approve these updated role descriptions and the reporting structure.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Do have a question. So a couple of these role descriptions were updated to say to utilize the ILS for collection projects and the day-to-day operations within the collections team. And that kind of seemed like it was a no-brainer, like it would already be part of what these descriptions would do. But could you let us know the reason that had to be added to the descriptions?
So you're exactly right. It should have been there in the beginning, and I think we just mixed it and missed it. We were going off some of the old role descriptions to begin with, and it had never been very explicitly said.
Okay.
But additionally, I think that in recent changes with how both IT and the collections department work together, it was very important to add these to those role descriptions because they do cross-train and share some of that information when we changed our system.
Okay, between the collections team and I.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks.
I did ask earlier if there's a difference between the highlighting that was used and it just is the color that she happened to be using at the time.
I think most of the green ones honestly had to do with money, green money. And that was when I was making those changes. I think that's probably where they came in different. But yeah.
And then the only other question that I had about these was I did not take a checklist to go through all the job descriptions. Are all of them here in this package?
No, some were not changed. No, and those we didn't bring before you because they stand as they are. Yep. They're in there.
Any other questions?
I do want to, yeah, she asked that I note this. It does say it in there that there are some new role descriptions. I believe there were 3 new roles.
Director of Communications.
Director of Programming and Outreach, the web specialist, and the processor role. Yes. Yep.
And that was noted.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
I just wanted it for the minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. RFP results, 2025 lawn care and landscaping services. Lori.
In your packet is a memo to the board for a recommendation. I'll just give you a brief summary. And then there's also a spreadsheet. If you have any questions, we can go through the comparison of the proposals that we received. On October 15th, we sent out 15 RFPs to local lawn care and landscaping agencies. And then we also received additional inquiry from 3 local businesses, and we sent them as well the RFP, and it was also posted to the EVPL website page, Business with EVPL. Of the 18 distributed, 1 replied that they chose to decline the submittal process. An additional inquiry was made about landscape planning and replacement of our landscaping plants, trees, etc. That particular agency did not submit a proposal. And then we did have 6 successful proposals, which is the most we've ever received in all the years that we've done RFPs for lawn care and landscaping. Of those 6, 2 decided to only quote 1 portion, either the lawn care or the landscaping, and the other 4 quoted both lawn care and landscaping. After some discussion, administration, thank you. After the administration of Scott, myself, Director of Facilities and Maintenance, Lamont Kelsey, and our Assistant Manager of Facilities, Steve Helt, had a conversation. We determined that we wanted to continue to award the contracts separately instead of as a whole. And then after additional discussion, we had 1 business that was a little bit off trend with the other 4 local business proposals for each of the particular services. And then we went through and did some follow-up with that particular business if you would like to know why they're an outlier on this particular proposal. So after some careful consideration, discussion, reviewing the proposals, comparing prices and taking into account factors such as contract agency management and expertise, focus on maintaining the appearance, history with our organization and performance, as well as making sure that they were aware of what our properties entailed and not just quoting from a plat or the surveyor's office and or comparable businesses. We are recommending the 4 of us to accept the proposal submitted by Supercuts Lawn Care for continued lawn care services in 25 and the Stalker's Landscaping proposal for the landscaping services.
Move to approve.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Discussion.
Yeah, on the comparison sheet,
Mhm.
what's it mean by total per occurrence?
So we have in the RFP estimated 30, for instance, if you're looking under the seasonal lawn care, we have 30 occurrences or 30 weeks of mowing and weeding. 6 is for the turf program, the fertilization, weed control, etc. And then we have 1 occurrence, and that is for, sorry, I have to look that up real quick. You should have this memorized by now. Seeding. We do seeding in the fall once a year.
So if somebody quoted like Supercuts, 40,795 total per occurrence, how many occurrences do they have?
So that 40,000 is for the full season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, sorry. Yep, that would be for the full season. The amounts that are in the red boxes are for the full season.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
Other questions? So I have one. So before I assume off trend, define that for me.
So off trend means that they are not in alignment with the other proposals that we
Way
received.
low?
Yes.
Okay,
And we did receive some information back as to why.
okay. And in your assessment, they weren't just low, they missed something, or there was something about their bid that didn't make it commensurate with the others.
Yeah, they didn't miss anything, but based on the way they calculated their prices and they were using a subcontractor for a large portion of that, made it a little bit, we think, an outlier as far as not knowing our properties or having actually viewed or walked our properties.
Okay, and then the total,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, do they aerate the grounds?
No.
Okay,
When they overseed, they do the line cutting. It's not a full aeration, but
okay,
it's a
okay,
scarifying, however
Split
they
seating?
pronounce it. Yeah, split
Okay.
seating.
Yep.
So it's partially aerated. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
And with these two, would it be, will they come in within what we have budgeted for those services?
Yes.
And one more question, just because I find it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
30 occurrences, what if there are more or less?
So we contract for 30 based on their proposal. If there are more, if we have a really wet season, then we will add on to the contract. If there are less, I shouldn't say we, our director of facilities and maintenance will in concurrence with whichever business we contract with, will say we don't want it to mow because it's so dry and we don't need mowing right now. We could do that for a number of times, but the way the contract's written, they won't get paid for those weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I first came here 13 years ago, we just paid them regardless.
Okay. And is there some kind of SLA associated with how often it happens so it doesn't get, because our lawns usually look pretty nice so that they stay.
Yeah, within
The
the
grass grows at different speeds at different times of the year, so.
yeah, within the RFP, it's based on an estimated weekly event. Sometimes it may be 10 days in between, and sometimes it may be 5. It just depends, as you said, on the weather and
Okay.
the growing rate.
All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the proposal as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Finance report.
So your appropriation budget balance as of the end of October 31st, 2024 was $4,189,165.97, or approximately 25%. And that does not include some of the transfers that we'll be making and some costs that'll be coming in here towards the end of the year. We're targeted to end the year with approximately 5 to 8% of the budget balance remaining, which is really good for us. And the investment balances as of October 31st, 2024 in the Trust Indiana State Investment Pool for all 4 funds is $12,827,000. The average daily yield for October was 4.9306, down 0.2604 since September. And the average daily yield year to date was 5.3208, or down about 0.3%, 3.5% since September.
All right, approval of bills.
Would you appoint a pro tem?
Belinda has agreed to be the treasurer.
All right. I'd like to present the following for approval. The November 14th, 2024 total invoices of $783,802.81, including payroll of October 4th, 2024 of $342,824.17, and payroll October 18th, 2024 of $497,496.90. And that's presented in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion.
Yeah, I got a question. What is Annex Gas and Electric?
The annex building across the.
Oh, I thought that maybe that was the the name of the company or something. Oh, I
No,
see.
no,
Center
it's our
Point
annex
Energy.
building for the central annex on the central campus here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's where
I
the-
thought maybe that was like some individual, like you're buying natural gas through some kind of,
No, we do that with a different company.
okay. I just didn't know.
That's
Okay.
the building where our clinic and we lease out to nonprofits is located.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Fiscal year audit.
So I wanted to announce that the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 has come to a completion. Pro met with President Eric Williams and Treasurer Robert Musgrave, myself, and CEO Scott Kinney to go through the exit conference. And that report will be made available to you as soon as it's posted on the State Board of Accounts website. And usually it can take anywhere from 30 to 60 days. And so as soon as that is posted, I will send that to you. I can report that we did have a clean, squeaky clean audit this year. So that will be coming to you as soon as it's posted to State Board of Accounts.
Well done.
As always.
Thank you.
Other business, the slate of officers announced for 2025. We had a nominating committee and they met, and so it is listed here, but the nominating committee has brought forward a slate of candidates. President Rick Cameron, Vice President Sabrina Stewart Thomas, Treasurer Bob Musgrave, and Secretary Belinda Stubbs. So we know. Foundation Liaison Report. Scott?
Actually, yep, thank you. The foundation board did meet on October 16th. We, per usual, on a quarterly basis, we went over foundation's investments. They also set their foundation board meeting dates. Lori and John gave the financial report for the foundation. I gave the ex officio report, which was mainly an update on all of the building projects that we are currently going through right now. Probably the biggest thing that happened at the meeting was Heather O'Grady brought forth a funding proposal for an exciting project, the Evansville Oral History Archive Project that the foundation has agreed to fund. And this is working with Joe Atkinson on a video oral history project that will be up on our archive, our web-based archive.
Any questions? No?
And we also worked on the book set, which just happened this last weekend. Do you have the total, Lori, do you remember what it was?
That's 6,500.
Yeah, it was over 6,000.
That's
Net.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good one.
And so they had another successful fall book sale here at the Browning Room here at Central. The other thing that I wanted to mention is Dr. Wire, our foundation board president, did announce that Dr. Brooks was awarded the 2024 Sidell and Sydney Berger Award for Faculty Scholarship and Faculty Service. That was presented at the Human Relations Commission annual meeting and the Mayor's Diversity Awards. So our foundation member, Dr. Brooks, received a very nice recognition for her service to our community, and very proud of that.
Very nice. Staff spotlight.
Do not have one.
We just make one up.
Go for it.
Spotlight. It's in the audience.
Yep.
Lamont person, Lamont.
All right, we won't put you in the spotlight
He's
this
always
time.
spotlighted.
Announcements.
For me, I just wanted to, mainly for Lamont, is construction projects are going very well. We have moved from phase A to phase B at North Park, and the library will reopen Monday. So we've flip-flop sides of the building that they're working on. Central project also starts next week. They'll start doing some demo and project planning, starting with the Children's Services Read Center area. So we're starting with Central.
McCullough.
McCullough, we have our renovation celebration tomorrow. We're going to do ribbon cutting at 2 p.m. So please join us. We hope to have you there. We'll do some fun little pictures. We have some nice mementos from McCullough that we'll be handing out as well. And lots of fun stuff happening in the open house crafts. And there's a beautiful display of the history of McCullough that's going to be up. So please join us. Starts promptly at 2, but the open house is until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And then the other announcement that I have, and you will get more information about this later, and you won't be able to forget because the day after your next board meeting is our holiday breakfast. Will be on Friday morning, December 13th. Yes, Friday the 13th. The board meeting is the night before, so I will remind you to come and join us for breakfast. And we are all wearing our Christmas pajamas, so please wear yours as well. We're not doing ugly sweaters. We're doing Christmas pajamas this year.
All right. I did have one question. It may not have been the right time for it, but all the libraries, or several of them, served as polling places. And I was just curious how that went this year. Were there any but significant issues or problems, things that
I
we
wouldn't
need to be thinking about?
There are things that we plan to discuss with the election office for the next presidential election. We don't see them in the in-between years like we see the turnouts, obviously. But quite frankly, we had several incident reports due to people fainting or passing out, standing in long lines. Lots of things. So we want to kind of talk about that and see if we can't mitigate some of those. But nothing major happened. No fistfights broke out. Everything was good.
Everyone was civil.
I will say that in the future, if we do 4 weeks again here at Central, the 2 weeks before the other regionals, it is not busy at all here at Central. And I think that's an opportunity for us to capitalize that, because as soon as the other locations came on board, everybody was busy. But there were 2 weeks before that here
Which we weren't.
Yeah, it was.
that was not nearly as busy. And I think we want to make sure that people know that. I think we also plan to try to help put out the word about, because Indiana, you can request an absentee ballot if you're of a certain age. And I think we want to help promote that for people and help them understand how they could do that instead of having to stand in the long line.
So like Monday, the line, when I looked out of the superintendent's window over here, the line went around the parking lot down into the parking garage.
Yeah,
it was significant.
So I will just take this moment to shine a spotlight on Abby. Abby and her team did a lot of making sure that we don't want to police things too much, because it isn't our event, but we also need to be mindful that people are safe and people are careful. So that line specifically did need some maneuvering, and they did a great job with that. But Nancy Higgs also is our liaison to talk and work with the election office. Nancy does a lot of great work leading up to it, and during the week as well. And honestly, all of our staff were in a polling location, really all of our staff in general, because everybody's getting the phone calls during that time. It's a busy, tough 2 weeks at times, but we made it through. It's important. It's important for us to be a partner, and we continue to be proud to be able to host early voting.
Line safety was our biggest concern with everything, because lines were at every location that had early voting,
and we're
trying to keep everyone safe.
The election office is easy to work with when you propose solutions and you're partner with them on solutions rather than say, hey, this is a problem, fix it.
Yeah, Nancy and I actually walked all the locations with the election office prior to everything open. We walked through how everything was going to be, where the lines were going to be. Just as a public announcement, we need more people to help them, more people to work the polls, more people to help the election office will also help that process, because they don't have enough people to sometimes help with things as well.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely right when you talk about the idleness in those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because when I voted the second day that it was voting and early voting, and in and out.
Me too.
And all of a sudden you get closer to election, and people say, well, I didn't know. So anything like that, I think, will help the community itself. Good idea.
I have a question. Did you notice activity in the library, or were they just coming in to vote and then leaving, or were you getting more books, audio stuff, everything
Listen,
checked out?
I always say if we can get you through the doors for one thing, we can get you to come back for 7 more. And that is 100% true during early voting. Some people, of course, walk in, walk out, especially if they're on a time crunch. But there are always people who come in and want to look around, haven't been there in years. We had people who hadn't seen the new McCullough. They come in to vote. They get to see the renovations.
Right.
So yes, 100%. It
So
always
great
helps us.
exposure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Good question. Upsell.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. All right, well,
We just need to put up a temporary wall like North Park had. Cause that was the conversation. They'd walk out of voting, they'd be like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Come on in,
Yeah.
check it out.
Yep.
So.
we can throw tip balls up anywhere.
Correct.
For sure.
All right, well, thank you for that. And I am proud to be part of an organization that is participating in the election process because it is important that they have a place to go and consistent, that it's not changing year to year, and the folks know where to go. So I hope we continue to do that. And with that, are there any other announcements? Hearing none, I'll call for the adjournment at 4:56.
So move.
Second.
Second, yeah, oh, yeah.
All right.
Got it.